Good afternoon, Shelley and Patrick. My name is Cynthia. This is Vivian, Sharon, Angelica, and Jethro. And we are pleased to be speaking to you today from the Special Projects team at Metrolinx. We want to start off our presentation by first showing you a quick and informative video highlighting the UP Express.
Toronto, financial capital, cultural hub, and home to nearly 6 million people. It's also home to Canada's busiest airport, Toronto Pearson. But getting from downtown to the airport isn't always easy. Until now. For traffic jams and commuter stress, the time is up. From 2015, the Union Pearson Express will link downtown with Toronto Pearson in just 25 happy minutes. On board, you receive a warm Toronto welcome. Our handsome, high-speed trains will depart Union Station at Toronto Pearson every 15 minutes, with brief stops at Bloor Dundas and Weston GO stations, where you'll find convenient connections to other parts of the city. For a quick and comfortable journey, whether you're heading out, stopping by, or coming home, the only way is up.
With that being said, today we're going to present to you the key financial statements of the UP Express, including a projected income statement as well as a break-even analysis. In addition, we will also be presenting you with two different pricing systems and giving you the risk and benefit of both, giving you the information available for you to decide which is the best fit for you. And finally, we'll be presenting you with a projected promotion campaign that we will use to attract more customers and increase our consumer base to the UP Express.
We started our projected income statement by making the following assumption. First, the fixed costs can be classified as sunk costs or non-sunk costs. Sunk costs are costs that have already been incurred and are relevant to our current decision-making. The second assumption that we made is that it uses a straight line depreciation method of 20 years of useful life and no residual value. Based on the first assumption, we have classified the following as non-sunk costs: facilities and track operation, equipment maintenance, and labor and benefit. Now let's take a look at our projected income statement. In the income statement, it shows that there will be loss in the first 2 years of business. However, it is normal for a startup business like UP Express to incur such loss. Now I will pass on to Jethro for our break-even analysis.
So in our first scenario for break-even analysis is that it is $20 for all three stops, regardless of the number of stops each passenger takes. And also there is no change in fixed costs. Here we can see that in the years 2016, 17, and 18, the break-even sales and in units are all the same, with about $58 million and a $2 million rides. And the reason why it's different from the year 2015 is because of the amount of time in each fiscal period. In 2017, it is approximately half a year, as the UP Express was only launched in July the 1st of 2015, whereas in 2016, 17, and 18, it is covering for the full 12 months of the year. Here, also, we can see that for the first 2 years, we did not manage to break, UP Express does not manage to break even. And whereas for the latter 2 years, it does break even by approximately $1,500,000 to $2 million. This may be because that UP Express is starting to launch for the first 2 years and hasn't been settled yet. And also because of 2015, the fiscal period has shortened to half a year. And in the scenario 2, it is the same thing for $20 for all three stops, regardless of the number of stations. However, this scenario considers the fact that there is additional fixed costs of approximately $5 million. Here we can see that in all 4 years, UP Express does not manage to meet the break-even amount. Does not manage to break even to sales and the number of units. This is because of the additional fixed costs incurred with a rigid $20 system for all three stops. And this takes into account of whether we should use variable pricing strategy or using a fixed pricing strategy, as we will go on to next.
So the question that came up was, are the management's initial ridership projection in Exhibit 1 overly optimistic? So by comparing the initial ridership projection in Exhibit 1 and the market projection in Exhibit 5, we concluded that the Exhibit 1 projection was not overly optimistic because we found that the market from Exhibit 5, they have more people that are willing to take the UP Express, and that as a result, we found out that operating income for Exhibit 1 is much lower than the operating income in Exhibit 5, which is the positive and the other one's negative. So we think that we underestimated our projection in Exhibit 1.
So, active transportation choices provide healthy, inexpensive means of travel. So in addition to fixed pricing scheme, we are going to talk about the variable pricing scheme. In the variable pricing scheme, there are three main parts. First, how we base the specific pricing strategy, and then the profitability and break-even analysis, and finally, the benefits and risks for both variable and fixed pricing.
Okay, so first we're going to talk about the price ceiling and the price floor. But first, what is a price ceiling and price floor? A price ceiling is a max price that we can set for a good or service that will allow us to charge reasonable prices for our consumers. Whereas a price floor is the minimum price that we can set to ensure that we're not pricing our goods or services too low. So in this case, the price ceiling was actually given to us at a price of $22.50. This price is actually the tipping point, meaning that if we were to increase the price past $22.50, the demand for the UP Express would actually decrease. Whereas the price floor, we determined it using our expected variable cost of $7.65. This cost is actually the minimum cost that we can use that would allow us to cover all of our expenses when the UP Express is up and running. When deciding our pricing strategy, there are many factors to consider, including the fixed cost, distance, other factors, and variable costs. So for distance, we used Google Maps to determine the distance between each stop as well as the distance of the whole trip in general. We use this information to determine a distance ratio, which is the distance between two stops divided by the distance of the whole trip. So all our prices are based off of this distance ratio.
Considering distance, price ceiling, and price floor, there are other factors that are important to decision making. There are operating cost and price elasticity of demand. With respect of not choosing UP Express, an alternate transportation is personal vehicles. In this case, the operating cost involves two main costs. They are gasoline and parking fees. The average fuel consumption by vehicles is 10.7 liters per 100 kilometers, and the cost of gasoline is 84 cents per liter. Based on this information, we have come up with the following estimated gasoline cost for each of the stop respectively: $9.10, $15.9, and $22.3. The average parking fees is $3 per 20 minutes, and the daily maximum parking fees is $28. However, we assume the parking fees to be $6. Therefore, the total estimated cost for each stop respectively is $15.10, $21.9, and $28.30 respectively for each stop.
This is worth noting that the optimal cost personal vehicle from Pearson to Union Station is 28.3, which is much higher than the pricing ceiling we set. That is to say, the cost by UP Express is definitely less expensive than by personal vehicle. If the price ticket is lower than the optimal cost, the riders will choose UP Express instead.
Based on all the factors that we mentioned previously, we have come up with the following adjusted variable ticket price for each stop: $9, $16, and $22, respectively.
Since we changed the price in the variable pricing scheme, so I'm going to talk about the potential impact on the ridership. In this case, we predict the following factors will affect the ridership projection. The first is the price elasticity of demand, and then the promotion. First, let me explain what price elasticity of demand means. The PED is a measure of how much quantity demanded changes due to the changing price. In this case, we assume that people will take air travel as economic base, and people living in the downtown area and traveling from Union to Pearson are considered to be high class. Thus, the 10% increase in price should not affect the demand. And we also did the research that the Statistics Canada survey shows the median family income in Canada is about $76,000 per year. And combining all the assumptions and the researches above, we predict that demand will tend to be inelastic when the ticket cost represents only a small portion of the income. However, considering the ticket price from Pearson to Weston has decreased by 55%, which is a big decrease, and also compared to other transportation such as taxi and personal vehicle, the ticket price is much lower. So we predict the ridership will increase and assume the number to be 20%. After we have the price and the ridership for variable pricing scheme, we made the income statement for the variable pricing scheme. Please refer to page 7 in the handout. There is an income statement and break-even sales for variable pricing scheme. As you can see that the operating income is much less than the fixed pricing scheme. However, because we change the price and the variable price scheme will attract more ridership, so there is a potential increased revenue in the future. When deciding which pricing scheme to choose from, we have to think about the priorities, break-even or potential increased revenue. So in order to give you guys more information to make the fully informed decision, I will pass it to Angelica, who will compare two pricing schemes in more detail.
Alright, so refer back to Vivian's insurance opportunity cost slide. I'll be talking more about the benefit and risk of both variable and fixed pricing. So as for benefits for variable pricing, by using the variable pricing, the price will be more reasonable for the customers. Therefore, we'll be able to attract more customers for the short distance traveling. As a result, we'll be able to increase our ridership, and in the long run, we'll be able to increase our profit in general. As for risk, the method for variable pricing is difficult to implement as there's cost and other things to deal with. So it's a more complex pricing structure. Another risk is that we might not be able to break even for the next 2 years due to the low price for variables. So I'll be talking more about the benefit and risk for fixed pricing. So as a benefit, it's really easy to implement as the price is just one number. So there's no variable prices. Another benefit is that the company is more likely to gain a higher revenue due to the higher price to each stop. Another risk is that because we have less pricing options, that means that our company is not as competitive to other transportation systems in Toronto, which means that we might lose some short distance traveling customers due to they might not be able to want to pay the $20 ticket price to each stop. So I'll let Sharon talk more about,
Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the promotion campaign portion of our presentation, starting with the promotion campaign budget. As you can see, we decided to devote a majority of our money to advertisement. Not to say that public relations isn't important, but at this moment in time, it is more important to advertise rather than put more money into public relations. This is because the UP Express is a new and upcoming project that many people don't know about. Rather than build relationships with our existing customers, which we can't do with PR, we have to ensure that we broaden our customer base by informing not only our Toronto consumers, but also our global consumers worldwide. So here's our promotion timeline, starting with today. Begin our promotion campaign. In a month, our social media pages will be updated, launched, and promoted. By January 1st, 2013, our TripAdvisor advertisements will be up and posted. On April 1st, our UP Express billboards will be put up. In May, we'll be hosting a UP Express launch kickoff event. And in the entirety of spring, we'll be having an Air Canada En Route magazine published and circulated. And June 1st, the UP Express itself is launched. So starting with advertisement, we are going to be having a billboard. So this billboard is going to be located southbound Spadina and King Street. So it'll be up for 5 months at a grand total cost of $51,360. So the reasoning behind this location is it is a prime location that people can see this billboard when they're driving into Toronto. As it is right now, there are a couple advertisements downtown Toronto, so many Torontonians are actually aware of the UP Express launch, whereas people driving in and out of Toronto are not. Like personally, I had not heard about this at all, and I'm from Unionville, but personally I remember driving past this one billboard many times in my past. So I'm sure that like it'll inform a bunch of people and people will be able to know and learn more about the UP Express. We'll also be having TripAdvisor business listing. So this will appeal to customers traveling to Toronto. The first thing you do when you're traveling to a new place is you go online. You look at TripAdvisor, you look at reviews, you look at things that you can use, you look at transportation. How are you going to get to your hotel from the airport? So this is really important, and it also is important because you're able to get reviews from customers. Not only are we broadcasting ourselves, because I can't tell you the amount of countless times you see advertisements and you're like, yo, they're just like promoting themselves to us. How do we know that this is what they really are? And with reviews, you can get client information, like first-hand client-based information, so that you know that our services are up to par.
So right now, Metrolinx has their own existing Facebook and Twitter pages, but they do not have the specific UP Express pages. So we'll be creating our own brand new UP Express specific pages. So this is the pages that we're going to create. And we hope that by creating this, we can raise awareness for the upcoming UP Express opening in 2015. As well, we would like to use the social media to increase our publicity and improve our brand itself. And as well, the advertising on the social media are free.
And we could broaden our promotion campaign on sites such as Instagram, Vine, and even Pinterest. So we can use all of those because they are free of charge.
The next advertising medium we'll be using or propose to use is through the use of YouTube. YouTube is the largest video sharing website in the world with billions or even trillions of views each day. So we propose that we use in-display ads, which are displayed on the side of each video page. For example, like right here in the yellow square. This way, we are able to use YouTube to find our target customers, which is predominantly in the Pan-American area. We are expecting over approximately 100,000 views per month to take place, and in a total cost of $30,000, unit cost of 30 cents per view.
So we plan on putting our advertisement on Air Canada En Route magazine, which has over 40,000 copies in circulation per season, so like 4 months per issue. And it costs $5,000 per issue. And our main goal is to target the business professional, which include the business class people, passengers, travelers in the lounge, and Air Canada partners. We want to target those people because they are the majority of the target people in our, so like they're business people who are in GTA,
And especially because this service eliminates time. Like you can take the subway and to get to these different places, but there's a lot of time involved because there's many stops. Whereas as shown through the video, it eliminates time, which is very important to business people because the saying goes, time is money. And we're very proud to be hosting the UP Express kickoff event, which will be hosted at the Carlew special event venue downtown. It's actually on College Station, so you can actually take the subway and just it'll get you right to the Carlew. So we'll have 500 guests attending, including the CEO and CFO of Metrolinx, and each guest will receive one of their own Union Peterson t-shirts. So at this event, we're going to be highlighting key things that differentiate the UP Express from any other travel method, including innovation and convenience. So what other transportation system can get you downtown to the airport in 20-some minutes? Screens with in-flight information. This is so important for people that are traveling in and out of Toronto. This adds to the convenience of the train and is definitely very helpful. Onboard refreshments. This just proves what high quality the UP Express has and appeal to those high-class business cultured people. Wi-Fi and power outlets. This adds to the convenience. Business people need to be able to do their business anytime, anywhere, and our service allows them to do that. luggage facilities, and self-service airline check-in machines. Also very important and added convenience for those traveling in and out of Toronto.
In this presentation, we introduced the financial analysis in terms of the projected income statements for the next 4 fiscal periods in years 2015 to 2018. We also included the break-even analysis to each of these income statements in the respective years. Next, we discussed about the variable pricing of having passengers choosing to take 1, 2, or even 3 stops. We also discussed about the projected ridership projections in the later years. And we also did a comparison between variable pricing and fixed pricing schemes in terms of its benefits and downfalls. Lastly, we included a promotional campaign which discusses the use of different sorts of advertising mediums and including a promotional kickoff event. So to end off, we have a quote that says, "You can't understand a city without using its public transportation system," as the arrow calls it. We hope that this will provide solutions to potential problems that will affect the development of the Union Pearson Express. We want to thank you very much for listening and attention, and we appreciate that you give the time for us to present. And if you guys have any questions,
Feel free to ask us.
Thank you very much. So do you have questions?
Awesome. I do have a couple questions for you guys. So with regards to the, go back to the variable schemes. I really like the discussion about the price elasticity of demand, and you guys consider different, like that 10% of the population is like, won't change the demand or whatever. But with regards to the alternatives to this method of transportation, you guys consider like personal vehicles, right? Are there any other alternatives that you guys could maybe consider in your analysis other than people, like what if someone doesn't have a car and they need to stick to, you know?
Yeah, actually we make a graph. This is on the last page. Our handout is compare the taxi
Okay.
and the UP Express. So this is another like alternative transportation.
Does that answer your question?
Last question was kind of answered, but you guys can maybe elaborate on that. So with regards to promotional campaigns, I really like that you guys identified for each method, like what kind of target audience you guys are using. But with regards to the like social media, like Instagram and Vine and Facebook and Twitter, what are the I guess benefits that you see for these social media outlets and the potential audience that you guys are targeting?
Okay, so because we live in a modern day right now, a lot of people are just turning to social media. Like I know even my mom uses social media. A lot of business people have Facebook and like to communicate through it. And because it is free to use, we thought it would be very useful to not only reach those people, but also reach people who, like ourselves, who are traveling in and out of places. Because we are students, but yes, we have to travel to Toronto to get places. Sometimes we have to travel other places, and nobody likes to waste their time doing things. So because these are free, we might as well utilize them and reach the most amount of consumers that we can.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for the pricing suggestions. Definitely worth considering, and definitely very good arguments that you've made for it. I don't actually have a lot in the way of questions. I'll have to take a look at the budget for for the promotion again, just to actually, if you could pull that up, just so I could kind of quickly see where some of that falls along. So, Canada. Yeah, that seems quite sensible, and I do like that you balanced both kind of new media, traditional billboards, and events. I think those are always kind of three things that I would be interested in taking a look at. And I really like the in-depth analysis of the kind of transport methods, both the taxi and the car transportation especially. There is one thing that I think you should keep in mind, and that's TTC. There is actually a way to get there by TTC. It's far less convenient than anything that UP Express could do, but it is definitely possible. They do have a kind of a direct express bus that goes right from the subway. So that might be interesting to include in your analysis. But all that said, I definitely am pretty convinced as far as the variable option. What else did I have? Yeah, I think that's it as far as the questions for me. You've done a great job. Thank you very much.